Hey guys, I wanted to give this quick rundown of some factors in PvP playing. So I'm going to demonstrate it in PvE just because it allows me the freedom to show you exactly what I'd suggest without having to focus too much on other things. So, okay. Hold up. Okay, one thing I'd recommend is usually always keep the pointer at head level. Some people walk around like this, right? They walk around like this, and then when an enemy comes up, they have to move up and then try to aim. It's much better when you're just directly aiming at their head right when you see them. You know, there's that. So a way to practice that, right? There's a few things to practice. One, for instance, you could practice this. Like you could do this in PvE. A really good practice method to get good at headshots is do something like Voltic Fist or Hive Mind with your three teammates, but instead of playing the actual level, focus on just doing aiming at each other and getting headshots. Just focus on doing that, and you could perfect your aim a lot doing that. Also, of course, the basics of moving when you shoot, being hard to kill, and also, for instance, when you reload, it's good to move like this. So I'm shooting, right? Once I have to reload, because you move faster going like that, moving forward, than you do sideways. So if I just kept doing this, I'm easier to shoot as opposed to if I did this. Watch how much faster this is. All right. As opposed to, you see? As opposed to. So when you're reloading, good to do that. Move this way. Like let's say that little dot was my enemy, right? He has a gun. He's shooting at me. I'm shooting. Right when I have to reload. It makes it harder for him to shoot me. There's two ways of doing this. For instance, you could shoot, then turn, and then go forward and then reload. Or you can shoot, reload, and then turn. But I prefer the turn and then reload. Kurueishi does it the other way because he uses the scope a lot. When you want to get out of the scope, a lot of times the best way to do it is reload. So that's one thing. All right, let me just check my... See that? You saw that? Those were headshots because I keep it all the time at head level. That's too far to do for me to be accurate with it. But I'm still getting them, you see? Okay, another pointer. Using objects is so important. Using objects to hide behind and popping out at unexpected times. That's the benefit of manual fire. Manual, by the way. A lot of people use auto in our guild, I think. Manual allows you to pre-fire. For instance, if the person's around the corner, if there's an enemy around the corner, you can start shooting before, and it takes the auto fire time to start firing at something. So, another benefit of manual is you could stop immediately and move and run away. With auto fire, you can't stop shooting immediately, and on top of that, you don't have a reload button. My playing improved a lot since I've been using manual. I used to think that auto was better because you could focus on the actual gameplay more. Nah, there's too many downsides to auto fire. So we're doing that. When an enemy's far away, yeah, it's better to use the scope. You saw how I moved like that? So I reloaded and it got me out of the scope so I can move. You can't move forward fast when you're in scope. So better to scope and then reload. So a lot of times in a PvE situation, let's say you're in a duel, a lot of the match goes down to being the first to shoot, not getting shot, being careful, using objects to hide behind, and kind of be unpredictable. For instance, like the person's, he's shooting. Like, let's say you're fighting and he's right down that way, right? He's shooting you from down that way, and basically you are trying to basically the person who has the cover advantage has the advantage. So let's say he's out in the open and you have this to hide behind. Generally, you have the advantage. You can move behind this and do unexpected things while he's wasting bullets, and he's always in the open while you're hidden. So you know that he's always going to be there, ready to shoot. So you could come out whenever you're ready. So basically, I can't. I hate it that there's so many of these things coming out. I'm sorry. It's like I just want to be able to talk and focus on this instead of worrying about these guys. Okay, so let me just see my little list here. I have a list of stuff that I was going to talk about. Okay, yeah, you want to be also shoot immediately, right? Shoot like right when you see the opponent. Shoot right. Make sure I'll show you. I'll keep going. Okay. I could maybe show you like this. Oh, I can't. Oh, crap. So we got in a PvP team situation, I always thought that it's way better to attack the enemy in a way that is always, strategic. For instance, like two people go in front and then someone comes from behind and flanks them, or for instance, when in CTF, I've always thought that survival is more important than kills. You definitely want to survive situations, because when you really need to be alive, you might have just taken someone out and gotten a kill, but you got killed, so you're not at their base. For instance, if you survived and they took the flag and they're coming back, you could hide in the balcony. Then right when they're nearby, you could pop down and they get them in the back. So that is important. I think it's really important to it's important to use strategy when doing teamwork. Don't just pop in front of the enemy. So in all PvP situations, fire quick. Be right when you see them start firing. You want it to be sudden, like immediate. Usually the person who starts firing quickly has the advantage most of the time. When they put on a shield, a lot of people use shields. You generally want to do either two things. Three things. Let's say there's that person right there. Let's say that's a person with a shield. One, you want to either move like this. So you move basically sideways like that. So he's trying to aim at you, but it's harder to shoot you because you're going fast, right? If you did this, you're much slower. I've said that before, but so that's one thing. Or a more optimal solution would be to go behind something, and then right when he turns on the shield, boom, and then you just kind of like do that. Like say he puts on the shield, you go like that. You aim right where he's about to come. You start pre-firing. That's a good idea. A lot of times I use these things to practice aim. So every time I reload, if you notice. It's actually better to do it, better to start firing when you're fully reloaded, right? So what I was doing there was going like this, then I was going like this, then I was turning around before I was fully reloaded. It's better to fully, like for instance, watch. Wait, let me think. Okay, yeah. So, wait, I didn't do it right, sorry. So, be firing, then... That was too early. So you want to get the timing of that properly. Again, like I said, if there's someone in the distance, shoot. You don't want to, generally, you don't want to take cover like this. It's too slow. The bullets will get you. So you want to definitely take cover like that. Always be careful of how you move. How you move is so important. Another thing, if the guy puts on the shield, the other thing I would suggest is, let's say the shield carrier is right. I wish there was an object here. There's no object here. I'll show you on a actual alien. Oh man, hold on. Where do I go? Okay. Guy with the shield, right? You spin around him. And then right when his shield goes off, you turn around. Okay. What else did I have? So, stay close to cover. Yeah, generally stay close to cover. Preferably attack the enemy in a way that is unexpected. Definitely move while you shoot, for the most part. Aim when at a distance. Make sure you are careful on the back too. Wow, what is all this stuff? Hold on. Yeah, this is all my schedule. I'm sorry. Okay. When you have the flag in CTF, a lot of times people try to run back to the base. I would suggest a lot of times it's much safer to hide in the balcony until, let's say you hide in the balcony with medkit and supercharger. Right when they pop up, stand in a way where their back is facing you. Right, so I usually stand by the edge of it, and I look down towards the gravity lift so I could prepare for them before they show up. Right, so that is hold on. Also. Yeah. So I look at the gravity lift, so I'm prepared, and I know ahead of time when they're going to come up, and I'm also away from the sniper fire. So when they go up the gravity lift, their back is usually turned towards me. Enemy at a distance. Again, remember it's about you have to be listening to their fire. A lot. Don't step out here without firing. Let's say there's an enemy down that way, right? You want to start firing before you pop out, and right when you're not firing, you want to be behind something. While you're in the open, you want to be firing. When you're not shooting, you want to be hiding. Generally speaking, maybe other situations, there could be several other situations, but. One way to practice evasiveness also is to practice decent players or noobs with a pistol. That's a good thing in duels. If you do duels really help sharpen your skills because you realize what will help you succeed in a combat situation against an opponent, and you're able to precisely figure out your foibles, the things that are not good about your playing. Again, I put a lot more importance because I'm mostly a CTF player. Like the other actual types of matches actually kind of bore me. I like CTF because there's an actual agenda going on. Let me see what else I have written here. Oh yes, predicting where the opponent will come from and shooting ahead of time. For like if you're predicting an opponent will come in a particular area, let's say there's an opponent hiding behind that thing, right? Predict that he's coming out that way or that way and pre-fire. And I'm out of ammo. Right when you have to reload, you take cover. So it's a good idea to be in an area that if you were getting let's say outnumbered, you could take cover. It's a better idea to do that than to pop out in the open. Like there's some players that like run into the right in front of the opponent. A lot of times they're really good players. They play well. But in a CTF team situation where it's really important at times to survive, you generally want to prioritize that over getting kills. Also, on top of that, in CTF, something I do that's a really good idea. A lot of times in CTF, I do something like this. Like right when they're popping out, I take little jabs at them. I barely get shot, and I take little jabs at everyone I see in their team, right? Like from across the map, like far away, right when they're starting out. And that weakens the enemy for my other opponents to be able to kill him easier. So a lot of times it's a really good idea to weaken the enemies. Of course, when you get more to the middle of the match, they can use the med kits, but it's good to take in the beginning, definitely, like jabs at them, and then it makes it easier for your teammates to take them out. Also, what else did I... Okay, what did I had something to say. I forget what I was going to say, but basic stuff is practice, right? So you just really want to practice. You could make these buttons bigger and smaller, by the way. I'll show you how. So go to controls, customize layout, hold both sides of these things, and you can move it like that or like that. So I usually keep mine like that. No, that's too small. Yeah, like something like that. That's too big. But I put the reload button pretty close to it, so I could quickly reload. And I'm out of ammo, so I can't do the reload thing. I'll do it with a pistol. And definitely be careful of exposing your back to the enemy. You generally want to be careful about that. Med kits, generally stay away from med kits. When the team has med kits all over, generally stay away from them and get them in an area where they don't have that advantage. Same with EMP. When they put on EMP, generally attack them in an area where they don't have that advantage. Let me see what else I had here. Yeah, you got to be calm when you play. I noticed that when I'm calm and relaxed, my hands work a lot better, and I'm able to focus a lot better. If you're anxious or like distracted, this game is really a thinking type game. So this game is here's some signature moves that I do. Oh, that wasn't me who turned. Some moves that I do. Let's say an opponent is right here, right in front of me, right? I'd blink the opponent, walk past him, turn around quickly, and shoot him in the back. That's something I do often, and usually it could take out an opponent without me getting shot at all. So that was what I said was a pretty good. You want to also practice shooting a little bit before you come out, and right when you're right when you're not shooting, you're completely behind cover. And also practice being able to kind of aim before you aim. So you pretty much know, let's say the opponent is that red thing right there, right? You pretty much know where that thing, you pretty much are almost aiming at the thing before you come out. That's a really good technique, and a lot of good duelers use that technique. So, let's see. So I'm staying near cover. So, oh, I don't have ammo. All right. And also, when you're doing PvE situations, definitely aim at the head still. It's a good practice. It helps you get better at headshots. Oh, out of ammo. So I'm versing that guy, right? Something like that. That's kind of how I do it. And basically the other stuff, this game is a lot of simple concepts. Just you gotta master them really well. One thing that I noticed some players, some really good players do, if depending on your skill tree, for most people this is their skill tree. I'm 12 agility, 8 survival. From what I hear, that's the best PvP. That's the best PvP build, right? So sometimes a technique that I think Neurocan does this. If you if you go down to 60 damage, let's say like you've taken 60% damage, or if you're down to 60% health, your critical damage actually increases by 30%, I think. And that's significant. If you have all crit gear and your health is down that much, one thing that I notice he does is, so you're shooting at him, right? He's moving around really, and he's really hard to shoot, right? He's moving around like all crazy, and then you pretty much empty your clip. Then his health is down to like 60%, and he comes out and he shoots you right in the head while you're reloading, and you die really, really quickly. That's kind of like why people think that these players are hacking, but they're not. They're just being clever with their skills. So that's something to keep in mind. What is this? All right. From a distance, when you're far away, I think it's a better idea to probably aim at the body, but you just want to be really accurate. Make sure that your pointer is pretty much always, your bullets are always connecting. Oh, I'm out of ammo again. Keep in mind, I'm doing this kind of similar to how I do it in PvP, right? That was a mistake. I'm making a bunch of errors, Explaining this while I'm playing is not easy. Also, from what I've heard, oh shit. Reloading while you're turning actually makes you move a little faster. Kuroishi told me this. Basically, when you reload and go like that, you move faster for a split, like a really quick, like a millisecond or something, and it kind of throws off the aim. So sometimes that's why he suggests reloading first before you turn can be better than just turning. Shit. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, that would be it. That's some stuff that I use, some techniques. I think the game has a lot of basic aspects. Being clever and being holistically intelligent and strategic is important. Being aware of your other teammates, being aware of where the enemies are, where you expect them to come from in CTF, etc., is important. And basically practicing aim, practicing what I said about using objects, being near where you can take cover if you have to. When you're in the open, move fast. Don't stay in the middle of the map ever. Just kind of stay there briefly, then move out, unless you have cover, unless there's no other enemies in that area. But generally, you want to be where there's cover. You want to shoot before they even see you. You want to be shooting. So like your shooting should be sudden. Your aimer should be at head level. You should practice in PvE when you're versing, like let's say you're doing Voltic Fist, use that time with 3 teammates to practice aim, while moving. So they're moving side to side and you're trying to shoot them, and you're also moving side to side and they're trying to shoot you. And also practice hiding and taking cover, taking very little damage and being difficult to shoot. These things are going to really help your playing, and this is all stuff that I had been working on, and that's why I can play much better than I was before, because of these things. All right, thank you. Bye.